I've encountered more and more cases of individuals looking to do government jobs, maybe work for a senator or an MP, having their security clearances rejected or not responded to at all.
To actually listen to him in action advocating for this stuff, it sends a chill down your spine. Senator Yuan Pao Wu, one of the 4 parliamentarians identified by Sam Cooper as potentially appearing on the NSICOP findings on politicians who knowingly collaborated with foreign countries, may have just said the quiet part out loud. During a Senate hearing, he openly questioned why applicants with ties to the People's Republic of China were being denied the security clearance required to work for MPs and senators. This line of questioning raises major red flags as to the intent of his question. But for those that may not remember who he is, here is a reminder. Let's take a look.
Canada's democracy has been under attack by authoritarian regimes. Chief among them is the People's Republic of China. And I'm joined today by leading experts on foreign interference. Sam Cooper, investigative journalist and author of Willful Blindness, 3rd edition.
I'm here today to highlight some of the names and entities covered in my updated book and to pose a question. Should other Canadian journalists be examining the openly available evidence surrounding these networks? Firstly, my book recounts reporting on a 2020 tape recording provided to me, where Senator Yuan Pao Wu is heard in a 47-minute private briefing with the Canada Committee 100 Society. This group included Conservative Senator Victor O as an advisory member, along with an individual officially listed in a Chinese United Front Overseas Leaders Group. The Canada Committee 100 Society is led in Vancouver by Ding Guo, a journalist who is also an advisor to British Columbia Premier David Eby. Other journalists participating in this tape-recorded meeting with Senator Wu later supported Liberal candidate Parm Bains in 2021. In the taped meeting, attendees asked Senator Wu about his stance regarding United Front Work Department community group activities in Canada. These groups, according to CSIS, are central to targeting Canadian politicians for influence and election interference. Senator Wu expressed his concerns about Canada's focus on United Front groups, stating, "Whether you belong to an organization that happens to be listed as a United Front organization should not be a litmus test," and added, "I am fighting very hard against that type of litmus test." Mr. Burton, the sinologist and Mandarin language expert, reviewed the full tape recording and told me, quote, "Senator Wu's briefing to Canada Committee 100 Society effectively enables the legitimacy of agencies of the Chinese Communist Party in our country. In a way, Senator Wu's intervention in the Hague Commission seemed to fulfill his taped pledge to the United Front. He repeatedly filed submissions undermining Canadian intelligence and using Chinese intelligence talking points. My confidence that he appeared to act for Beijing was bolstered by information from a person I call Confidential Source 1, who confirmed that Senator Wu, appointed by Justin Trudeau, was under CSIS investigation.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Cooper, best investigative reporter in Canada, maybe North America, who knows? But he lives his life investigating United Front activities, People's Republic of China influence, and that's his specialty. He travels to Hong Kong, to China to investigate these things. He's revealed the whole scope of the Chinese triads and their influence in the Vancouver and British Columbia area. It's terrifying what Sam Cooper has actually revealed. And we cannot thank him enough, and we cannot appreciate him enough for the work that he's been doing, and he just gets pilloried for it. But I want to take you back to October of last year, because this is when this press conference happened and this kind of all blew open, right? Now, although there were other names mentioned that definitely deserve attention, and Mary Ng was one of the other ones, we wanted to focus on Yuen Pao Wu, because just last week, November 27th, 2025, Yuen Pao Wu was in a Senate committee, and he had the opportunity to ask some questions about foreign policy. And although he is a independent senator, like that's the group that he's in, the independent senators group, he was appointed by Justin Trudeau, as you heard Sam Cooper say. And for those that just need a quick refresher on why this is all concerning. So the United Front Work Department is essentially, literally, the front work department, the front for the People's Republic of China all over the world. And this is a state-sponsored, call it organization, whose sole purpose is to exert the influence of Beijing to different countries around the world. It's the United Front Work Department folks that are the ones that are harassing all of the immigrants from China who try to come to Canada to escape the tyranny of that state and just want to live in peace, be Canadians, pay their taxes, work hard, and build a life. And this organization is the one that's going after them, bullying them, threatening them, and they work to set up all of these influence networks throughout the country in order to then exert influence on politicians and then try to accomplish the agenda that the People's Republic of China actually wants. They don't care about Canada, they don't care about the US, they don't care about anything but themselves. So this is where all of this is stemming from. Now, this is where we come to the Senate committee meeting.
From the angle of national security reviews and security clearances, and that's a different department as well, which I'm sure you'll remind us of, but it's the foreign policy angle that I'm interested in, because I've encountered more and more cases of individuals looking to do government jobs, maybe work for a senator or an MP, having their security clearances rejected or not responded to at all. On the face of it, because they come from the People's Republic of China and have the most tangential links to the CCP or some government organ. Again, you can't comment on how CSIS does its review, I understand that, but I suspect the problem is a foreign policy framing issue. And in the same way, this is maybe more a comment than a question, but in the same way that Senator Harder has offered to help in thinking through how we frame the visa problem, I wonder if we can also think about how we frame the national security problem in terms of young Canadian people. They happen to be immigrants. They want a career in the public service, working for an MP or a senator, and they're blocked. They're blocked for almost seemingly no reason. Can you comment on that?
Notice what he said. Tangential relations with the CCP or some other government organ. Let's see. Would that government organ possibly be the United Front Work Department, Senator Wu? My guess is that's probably the case. This organization that intelligence organizations and law enforcement organizations around the world are very, very aware of and concerned about because of how they operate. Yeah, they're going to be a little concerned if somebody has a tangential relationship with the United Front Work Department. Just as they would be a little concerned with somebody who had a tangential relationship with some, organization known as ISIS or Al-Qaeda. Pretty sure that person wouldn't get a security clearance either. And he's trying to frame this almost as if it's racism. He doesn't come out and say it, but that feels like the vein in which he's going here. Well, they just want to work for the public service, and yeah, they're immigrants, and yeah, they have ties to China, and yeah, they have ties to the United Front Work Department, but that shouldn't prevent them from, snooping around politicians, should it? That shouldn't prevent them from advising these politicians, should it? That shouldn't prevent them from pushing the Chinese agenda on these politicians, should it? Come on. That's what I take from this question.
Sure. Mr. Chair, I'll take a stab at that. I won't bother reminding because I think the members of the committee are well aware of respective responsibilities for departments and agencies. I think it's a terrific question. It's a really important point and bang on in terms of one of the challenges of how do we do a couple things at the same time. Have experienced the kind of examples that you mentioned. For my part, particularly as you mentioned, countries from the region I'm responsible for, I would say one of the reflections is the importance to try to get the balance right, and I'm not going to profess that government always gets it right, but of also factoring in considerations for duty of care for individuals who the government of Canada, Canadian society would not identify based on their heritage, but foreign governments would. And I think for certain sensitive areas of work in the government, it's important for us to be realistic and find ways to make sure that individuals aren't put in positions, either in Canada or abroad, where we would make it likely that they would become targets, not by Canada, but by foreign governments. I know that that's not the background to all of the cases that might come to your table, but it is the background to some of the cases that we deal with. Thank you.
We deprive them of a job so that we protect them in that way? Is that what you're saying?
Mr. Chair, I don't think I said anything like that. I think the point I want to make is that one of the considerations, and again, these are not led by Global Affairs, but where they come across our desk sometimes, has more to do with considerations for intent by a foreign government with respect to profiling. And we need to be aware of that with respect to individuals and their family members as we look at positions they may be put into. And that's an ongoing discussion, and trying to get that balance right is important.
So this is Mr. Epp. He's the Deputy Minister of the Indo-Pacific Group within Global Affairs Canada. So Global Affairs is this big monster of an organization that deals with foreign policy and, buying condos for Tom Clark and that sort of thing. But the way he answered this question is very adeptly, I think. Essentially what he's saying is, listen, we have to be mindful of putting people in positions where they could be targeted, co-opted, or influenced by foreign nations. So if you have somebody who's a Chinese immigrant and they have tangential relationships to the United Front Work Department, and you put them in an MP's office, he's saying that person, whether their intentions were pure or not in their desire to work for that member of parliament, either a senator or an actual MP, that opens them up to all sorts of coercion opportunities from the People's Republic of China. That is known to do that. Heck, we just became aware last year of threats to Michael Chong's family, to Jenny Kwan's family, to Aaron O'Toole, and no doubt others. So what Mr. Epp is trying to gracefully say is, we don't hire those people and put them in those positions because it's very likely that they're going to be co-opted against Canadians. And then you listen to Senator Wu's response. So we deny them the job in order to protect them? Is that what we're saying? And Mr. Epp very calmly says, that's not what I said. So this is Senator Wu in action, trying to say, why do we have all these rules that are preventing Chinese immigrants from literally working for representatives of our government, people that make the laws of the land, when they have seemingly innocent relationships with organizations that are definitely not innocent? So this is the concerning part, because of what we know about Senator Wu from Sam Cooper and his research. And we've done some videos subsequent to that talk about Chinese foreign interference. We covered the Hogue Report. We covered a lot of this stuff. And you can go back and take a look at our coverage of that. But now to actually listen to him in action advocating for this stuff, it sends a chill down your spine. So, maybe it's a good time for politicians to be reminded, for Mark Carney to be reminded, for all of his government to be reminded that Canadians still don't know who these 11 parliamentarians are, and we deserve to know. And we also need to know why a senator who was not born in Canada, who seems to be very, very chummy with the PRC and the United Front Work Department, who seems to be acting in the interest of a foreign nation over Canadian interests, why are they not named, and why don't we know exactly what their motivations are? Because Canadians put these people in place. Canadians put the people in place who appoint these people. And they're paid by Canadian taxpayer dollars. I think Canadians deserve some answers. Don't you?